Okie dokie. So let's get started. Whoops, that just, there we go. Okie doke. So today I want to work on Sunny. My spouse is out of the house, so I can do whatever I want. So I want to work on this log post feature. And so the log post feature, which is a little bit of a stretch. So like everything in this app is revolved around One Piece in some way, kind of, sort of, because I'm obsessed with One Piece right now. And so in the One Piece universe, a log pose is a, like, more or less compass. And so if we stretch that a little bit, you could say that like a log pose is also like pointing you in the right direction. So I have a little like dashboard with like things that I've, like the calendar, the clock, my like a monthly view of the calendar, the weather, etc. And so instead of just calling it a dashboard, I'm calling it a log post. So let's work on that today. So yeah. So let's open up this documentation to get this installed. Requirements. Okay. So let's do installation and setup. Let's copy this. Let's go into Sunny. Let's make a new tab. I should probably change the branch. Whoops. Create branch AMN log pose. And okay, so let's do composer requires Spatie Laravel dashboard. And whoops. Requires Spatie Sun satisfied by this. Laravel dashboard requires 7.2. Huh. Let's do -W. Wait. Am I on the master? Ah, there we go. Okay, it still should have. Let's see what -W does. Okay, that worked. Cool. It installed the 3.1 version. Cool. So now let's go back. Okay, to create dashboard tiles table, you must create and run a migration. Okay. Okay, it copied, and now let's migrate. Cool. You must publish the dashboard config. Okie doke. That's the content. Okay, cool. So now let's go to creating your first dashboard. So in your Laravel app, create a new route and view. The URL and view name can be whatever you want. So let's call, let's go resources, views, let's say log pose.blade.php. And let's go to the web routes file. And should I put it in the authenticated? I don't actually want to have to log in because I use this on a little Raspberry Pi screen. Like, I will protect the route with like a token. And I think that will work. So let's not put it in the auth middleware group. So let's say dashboard log pose and then say log pose. Now, if we stop getting distracted, that would be good. Okie doke. So replace this by any tiles. So we need this X dashboard component in log pose. And let's see if I refresh. Okay, so that's the dashboard page. Let's go to the log pose page and we see nothing. But if we say hi in here, do we see hi? Cool. So let's go learn about tiles. So here's an example: Livewire Twitter tile, Livewire calendar tile. Okay. So positioning tiles. You can pass through a singleton like A1. You should imagine a dashboard like an Excel sheet. Okay. That's super helpful. Okay. So let's look at the tiles we have. These are tiles created by Spassy. These are tiles created by everybody else. Cool. Let's look at the time and weather. I want time and weather separate. So I guess how to so there's this Google Calendar one, which is an older version. Okay. Well, why'd you link me here? There we go. Creating your own tile. Let's do that. So creating a minimal tile. It's a Livewire component, class and view. Okay. The most minimal tile component. We accept a position in the mount method, and then we have a render. Okay. I wonder if I can use Volt. So let's say I have Volt already installed. So let's say Livewire, let's make a new folder for tiles, and let's make one for clock.blade.php. And I always forget how this works. So we open a PHP tag, and I don't want this delete user. I don't want this state. Oh wait, I do want state. I want, what is that? Position. And I don't need any of this. Okay, so then I can do div. Oh, we want X dashboard tile. And then let's make this clock. And then, so that's the tile part. And then we have to go to the log pose and do Livewire tiles.clock. And then do position A1. So if I go back to Sunny, okay, cool. So there's a tile that is taking up the whole screen. Cool. So now, how do I make a really simple clock? This is gonna be JavaScript. I mean, I could do it in I could do, let's say, state now, and then do now format HIA. Sure. I think that might be terribly wrong, but we'll see. Now. Okay, it is 4:13 p.m. No, it is not. Let's do America, Chicago. Cool. And so now it is 11:13 a.m. But as soon as it becomes, let's add in seconds to illustrate this. So it's not updating. It's staying the same. We could fix this with, let's say, wrap with a span and say, let's say, wire pull. I think that should work. No. Live wire, how does wire pull work? Basic usage. Wire pull, subscribers count. This returns a view. So state is like nothing is updating the state. We're re-rendering, but we're not updating the state. So let's try this as a computed property. Function. I don't think I need a full function for this. And okay. Now I need to update this to this now. Let's go back to here. Yeah, it's still not up. Okay, there it is. It's updating every other second. That's fairly, I think that works. It's a PHP only solution. So this does require a round trip. So if we go to the network tab, we see a network request every 2 seconds. Which like is fine, but I think it would probably be better if it was just JavaScript, because JavaScript can handle this. Do I know how to do the JavaScript off the top of my head? Absolutely not. So let's do, not raycast, build a clock Java. I think I'm gonna need, okay, so we're getting current time. And then, yeah, the set timeout stuff. That's always, okay. But I don't want to use, well, I could use vanilla JavaScript, but I could also use Alpine. So, what do I want to do? I could also look at what I did in the old version. So I have an existing version of this app. It's called Hootie. And I can preview this. And so we have a clock here. Okay, sure. So we could look at that. Yeah, let's just do it from scratch and see if we come up with something better. So alpinejs.dev xdata. How do you do like set timers? Events, on click, on enter, preventing. Maybe I just need an init. Okay, how did I do this? Code, Hootie. Let's see, let's go into Uh, resources, views, Livewire, tiles, and I don't have one here. That's great. Components? Tiles, clock digital. Okay, so how did I do this? Okay, X data, I'm accepting in a time zone because I made a whole system for you to like build your own, and I kind of want to walk that back because it was too complicated. Okay, so we have a new date. We set this time, okay, in US time, and we want a short, this date, US time zone full. And we set the interval. Okay, and it just updates locally. Okay, I like that. So let's go back to Sunny. And let's make this a div, I guess. And let's take off the wire pull and paste this in. And then let's go back and look at what's inside this div. We have a P with a text. Okay. Okay, so instead of this now, we can have, I think I want spans. And then let's do the styling later. Okay, so then we have this date, and then we have this time. Okay. And clock. Okay, so now let's go to the browser and see if it's working. No. Undefined variable data. Oh, yeah, because, yeah, that makes sense. So data time zone, that should be America, Chicago. Cool. So that's working. It's 11:20 my time. Cool. So maybe let's make this not look terrible. I don't really need it to tell me it's a clock. I'm gonna know it's a clock. So that's fine. I guess them being P's was fine because that makes them block. Yeah, okay, fine. So then let's inspect this and see how much. So this div is just this space, but then this parent div is everything plus a little padding. Okay. So if I say, let's add some styles to this just to figure out where this div is. Oh, I am way too indented, aren't I? Okay, so let's do class BG blue 100. Does that work? Yes, cool. Let's say height full to see if it, okay, it takes up the full width. And since it's a div, it's block level, so it's full width anyway. So cool. We can say flex and then item center. Okay, that puts them there. And let's say justify center to put them in the middle. Okay, and then let's say flex call to put them in columns. Perfect. That's literally perfect. Cool. I think we probably want the time to be a little bit bigger. So let's do class text, let's say 3XL. Okay. It's kind of hard right now because there's no other tiles. So it's hard to know what the real relative size will be. Well, I guess it can put it like this. Let's say a Nest Hub. That's about the size of my Raspberry Pi 10-inch, I think. So let's see how that works, I think. Cool. So let's... Oh, I didn't want that. Let's go back to the documentation and see... Okay, this is for storing, but this is a pretty dumb tile, so I don't think we need to do that. We don't need to do the refresh interval because JavaScript is handling the refresh for us, and we don't need to do a round trip to the server. Styling our component. In addition, we have default inverse. I think that's supposed to have an E, but we'll see. Dimmed, accent, canvas, title, or tile, success, warning, and error. These colors are automatically shared by the text color, border color, and background utilities like text canvas, border error, and BG dimmed. Okay. So let's say I want the class here to be text dimmed. Let's see what happens when I do that. Let's get rid of all these tabs. Okay, so now that Saturday is a little bit muted. Blah, I can't talk. Okay, and so let's get rid of that BG blue because I don't actually want that. Okay, what else do we have to play with? Default inverse dimmed accent canvas. What is canvas? I'm really curious. Text canvas. Okay, it's that background color. You see this border up here? I think that color is that. So I don't want that. Let's say text default. Cool. And if I toggle my system appearance, does it look good still? No. Dark text. I thought it was supposed to take care of that for me. Oh, I know what the problem is. If we go to the dashboard config, it says always use light, always use dark, or use device. So let's change the settings to use device so that when I toggle my system appearance, okay, it actually did what I wanted it to do. And I didn't need a dark anything. It's just text default and text dimmed automatically takes care of that for us, which is nice. Cool. Let's make this font bold. Sure. Okay, so that's tile 1 down. Let's commit. Let's say stage this, stage the composer lock. Let's stage the config file and the tiles. Okay, so let's say install spaCy dashboard package. Create log pose dashboard page. And clock, make clock tile. Cool. Let's, okay, add one for a calendar, like a monthly view. And I am straight up going to copy this because I spent so much time making this one that I don't want to do it again. So tiles, monthly calendar. And this is using Volt, but the class-based. I forgot I did that. Let's copy this and then make it work in the other one. So let's call this monthly calendar, blade PHP, paste. Okay, so basically how this works is we have, I don't think I actually need this. Yeah, because this was using my other dashboard system, but I have decided I really do like Spassy's system better. So let's use this. And close it out here. Okay. So how this component is set up is there is a top bar with a button to move from to the previous month, a button to move to the next month, and then showing the month in the middle. And then we have a grid, essentially a table of Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, so days of the week. And then this, if day of the week does not equal 0. I totally forget what 0 is. Oh, okay. So this is building a span to show the gap between, because it always starts on Sunday. And so let's say, okay, today's October. Let's go to October. October started on a Tuesday. And so for this type of view, we want to have 2 blank spaces here. I decided at some point not to have like 30 and 29, just to have 2 blank spaces. So this col span says if the day of the week, I should maybe say like month start date, maybe that would be more clear, does not equal 0. So if the month doesn't start on the Sunday, let's make a col span for the 1, 2, 3, or I think 0, 1, 2. Yeah, we'll figure that out. And then this loops through each of the days. And then if today is the current day, we add an extra little border. So let's make this work. And right now, if I refresh, nothing is going to happen because I didn't actually put the tile on the page. So let's say monthly calendar and say B1. Okay, so it's mad at me about Heroicon, but instead of using X Heroicon chevron left, let's use, since I have Flux installed on this app, let's use the Flux icons. Docs icon, Flux icon bolt. So we can do Flux icon chevron left, maybe. Class size 5. And let's use Flux icon chevron right for here. It's still going to complain. Undefined position. So let's go back to that clock. Oh, we can get rid of this. And this, and copy this, and paste it in here. Okay, now we have undefined variable month. So let's start just to get it working. So month will be now format. I always have to look this up. PHP date format. Is this the page I want? No. this one. This purple one is probably the page I want. Yes. So I want the full month. So F. So that should make that happy. Okay, undefined day of the week. So day of the week, if, let's say month start instead of day of week. Month start. I don't know if I like month start either. But, oh, unexpected token. Yes, I know. Let's go back. We want the day that we start on. If it's a leap year, no. Day. Okay, so we want N for the numeric representation of the day of the week. So 1 for Monday, 7 or through 7. So let's do N. Now format N. So that should get past that error. Days in month. Let's find out how I did that. The day of the year starting from 0. Okay. How do I figure out the month? Number of days in the given month. So that's T. Days in month is now format T. Go back to sunny. Today's date is now format. We want. Oh, cool! It's starting to look like something. But we want today's date to be the. Oh, November 1st. Oh, it's November. It's not October. Whoops. I'm silly. Huh. It looks like we're off a day. Because it started on the 1st. Or the 1st was yesterday, a Friday. So we'll have to fix that. But focus on, what am I doing? I'm getting today's date. So we want J. So today's date is 2, so it should have a, nope, okay. If today's date, oh, let's do rounded, border, accent, and maybe that'll work. Nope. Okie doke. So if date is today's date. Oh, we don't have date. Wait, date is the for each, isn't it? Doy. If date is, let's add DD for date. That's not going to work. At DD. 1. So if 1 equals today's date. Let's make it a single equals. There we go. Cool. Doesn't look like we have our buttons up here. Let's go to How did I style it in here? Oh, I removed a lot in this newer version. That's still not... Okay, so let's go back to, yeah, Sunny, and let's delete all of this, paste this in, and let's see how that looks. Cannot offset string on string. Where? Oh yeah, because in this version, I used this month computed property. Yeah, let's just copy this because I did this relatively recently, but there is still an improvement that I want to make on it. So it's essentially doing the same thing where we're setting up this carbon to my current time zone. I can pass in time zone directly to the now. I don't know which one I prefer, but I can do this instead and it'll be the same thing. So then we have this month computed property that has days and month, days of week, month, today's date. Then we have these two functions. So one to go to the next month and one to go to the previous month. So if we go to, if we refresh, there we go. And that fixed our 1 day off problem too, which is nice. And so if I go from November to October, no days are highlighted because we are not in October, we are in November. So that's helpful and nice. The one problem with this is a computed property lasts for the entire duration of, like, it's cached. I don't know how to say this better. So let's go to LiveWire. Let's have Caleb explain this better for me, which would be computed properties. So computed property, once the attribute has been added to method, you can access it like any other property. Cool. Accessing a method as a computed property offers a performance advantage over calling a method. Internally, when a computed property is executed for the first time, LiveWire caches the returned value. This way, any subsequent accesses in the request will return the cached value instead of executing multiple times. But they're only cached for a single request. So you have to like refresh the page for that cache to bust, which is nice, but not actually what I want. So right now, in the current version, I added a little refresh button to refresh the page so that this ticker would go to the next day. And I would rather not have to remember to do that. So instead of making this a computed function, let's just make it a regular old function. And that sets these things in state. And then we can do this days and month equals this carbon and then semicolon. Cool. So then let's change this function to render month. It's really a refresh, but I don't want to call it refresh because there's already a refresh in LiveWire. So what do I want to call this? This is setting values, I guess. What are we doing here? Oh, interesting. I did this differently. I got the day off of the carbon object rather than formatting it to get the day. I don't think either one matters, but I kind of like English month better than the random like string because it's a little bit more. I don't know, in 6 months I'm going to come back and understand exactly what English month means, where I'm not going to necessarily understand what J means. So I do actually kind of like that. So go past Andy. So we have carbon, we have days and month, we have day of week. What do I want to call this function? We also need to call this this month. Let's call it set up month. Sure. And then instead of doing this month, we can just do this month. Instead of doing this month, today's date, we can just do this today's date, because it's all in state, not in this computed property. This month, English month. Okay. Where's the 4H? There it is. This day of the week. This day of the week. This days and month. Date, today's date, this month. Okay, I think that should be good. Let's check. Month. Cool. So now if we refresh, okay. If we go to the next month, that's not changing anything. Shoot. Why is that not changing anything? So we do this carbon, add month, and then let's do this set up month. Add that there. So now if we click this, okay, there we go. December, November, October. Perfect. Now, network. How often does this poll? It should poll every 60 seconds. I think Spassie's tiles do that by default, which is nice. But I'm not sure if it's actually going to change anything. And I don't know of a good way to test this right now. So what I want it to do is when a new day happens, or every 12 hours, maybe sooner than that, but like every so often, check. Okay, so it did do an update, and there we go. Request URL. Let's make this Livewire update. What did we ask for? Components. Update mode, log pose, method, children. Okay, let's look into refresh. To refresh a tile, you should pass in an amount of seconds to the refresh interval prop. In this example, it will refresh every 60 seconds. If your component only needs to be refresh partials, you can add wire pull to your view instead of the refresh interval prop. Okay. So let's say refresh interval 5, I guess. Like, really, I would want this to be, like, longer than every minute, but let's change it to 5 just so we see a faster thing. And let's add a day manually. Okay, so then if I go back, we see that it's the 3rd because we changed it to the 3rd. If I remove this in 5 seconds, okay, we didn't actually change anything because it's in the mount method and we're not actually calling this method. We really need it to be in like the width or the render. Providing additional view data. When using class-based Volt components, the rendered view is the template. If you need to pass additional data to the view each time with, what about if you're using there's a bigger problem with this, isn't there? Because setup month takes in, it uses this carbon. It's not resetting the carbon or changing it in any way. So we could do like on this div, we could do wire pull and then pass it set up month. And that will send more updates. Okay, that actually, but if let's do carbon, add day again, refresh, and then every subsequent update, it's not re-grabbing or resetting the carbon, the date, the current date, which is what I want it to do. So maybe I move this to here. Or I accept a parameter. Yeah. What if we do that? So we'd say now add a day. Get rid of that. Then we can say this carbon add month. And we we could say this carbon equals carbon. Sure. I'm not sure anymore, but we'll figure it out. Should probably also add tests for this. That probably would be good. Okay, so on parameter requires carbon. We should say null and say if we now okay, so it did reset it to 2. Okay, cool. But if I go to the next page, it's probably going to refresh right away. Yeah, and put it back. Which I don't super love. But I am going to make it like 60 seconds. Or for... Yeah, let's make it... I actually don't mind this. Because sometimes if I hit that button, it's because I'm looking for something, but I forget to go back. So let's try it with... Oops, I didn't mean to open up Slack. Let's try it like this. Let's keep this the way it is. Then let's make this wire pull dot 240s. I think I can do that. Wire pull. Okay, so 15 seconds. Yeah, so let's do that. Every 240 seconds would be every 2 minutes, right? By 60, every 4 minutes. Let's do 120. So then it started on 3 because that's what we have in the mount method. Then in 2 minutes, 2 minutes is a little long for testing. Let's do 15 seconds. So it's starting on 3. It should go to 2. When it hits that refresh. Okay, it went to 2. Now if I go to December, it should go back to November. Actually, I like that a lot. So let's update this to 120 seconds. Cool. So now what do we have here? Let's append. No, it's not. Because I already pushed up, which sometimes I dislike when I do that. So let's call this, make that smaller. Clean up unused variable. And then we have this monthly calendar. Cool. So let's do add calendar component. Monthly calendar tile. Probably a better word. Push that up. Cool. Oh, shoot. I didn't mean to commit that, and I didn't. I hate when I do that. I committed this add a day thing, which you probably were like, Andy. Okay, so remove add day used for testing. Cool. So that's a good start. Okie doke. So, and it's 11:58. Cool. You can't see it, but my dog is stretching. It's kind of cute. Maybe I should have a dog cam. I think this is a good start. I am hungry, so I'm gonna go make lunch, and I'll